Hey everybody, how you doing? Adam Roscoe sent me an email, and he was asking me how I got to be doing what I'm doing. And basically, it goes something like this. When I was in elementary school, I became OCD and passionate about playing music. When I was in high school, I got to learning about writing music. I wasn't good at taking lessons or just playing prepared music was getting boring, so I decided I wanted to write music. So then along comes college. In college, I went to college and I worked 2 jobs and I was in a band. Then after college, I quit college after 2 years and decided to play in a band and work in a music store. So then I moved to the Bay Area and worked in a music store and worked in a music store and worked in a music store. I worked in a music store for a very long time. I worked in one that was, kind of lower end, then another one that was higher end. And then while I was doing that, all of my friends from high school and college who were very artistic and driven and ambitious and had the money to go to school were working on pretty interesting projects. So then I was still playing in bands. So then after I worked at a music store, I started doing remixing because somebody walked into the music store and said, "Hey, you play pretty well. Oh, and you write interesting stuff. Maybe you'd like to work on a remix." So then I started doing remixing. Out of remixing, the friends that I had in high school and college that I was talking about, they're like doing really cool stuff at this point. One of them's running this really awesome studio and asked me to come in and help him run the studio and teaches me an awful lot about engineering and tape and stuff like that. And then another friend of mine is starting to get into doing ads and games and things like that, and I start writing music for those. And then after that, I'm doing consultations and writing music for this stuff and everything else. And I find out about this company who's looking for a demo for an ad in San Francisco called Pyramind. So I go there, and they're like, "Wow, you use Logic? That's interesting. Hey, you ever think about teaching it?" So I ended up starting to teach for Pyramind. So then comes the dark days of the 2000s. Between 2000 and 2005, I was still playing in bands and I was performing live. And I was working on advertising and I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff and teaching and doing everything completely freelance. And the thing about freelance is it's a very, 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 very hard thing to do sometimes when you're not a person of a lot of resources. But eventually what ended up happening was Pyramind got large enough that they could hire me on. So now I'm the director of audio production at Pyramind. Now, that is the Reader's Digest version. There's a whole lot of details in there, and of course a lot of other stories and things like that. But the main point that I wanted to make was I didn't go to Berklee College of Music. I don't have a degree. I don't believe in talent. I believe that there's a certain amount of aptitude in people, but I believe that if you are absolutely passionate and OCD, you're going to learn how to do this. If you're young and you're working at a dead-end job, get out of that job and get a job at a record store, or did I say record? Music store, or get a job doing something music related. Take an internship. Wash dishes for somebody who has a studio or something. Just do something that's related to music. If you're young, try and surround yourself with people who are doing interesting things. Get people around you who are doing things that are more interesting than what you're doing. That's usually a pretty good one. Because what's going to end up happening is those people are going to collaborate with you. I guarantee it. One way, of course, to get people like that around you is to go to school. I feel as though my skill set has finally reached a point where I'm very, very, very satisfied with where I'm at. But if I had been in an immersive place, a place where I was around people who this is all they wanted to do, that would have been very interesting. But at the time, I didn't have the resources. So the path that I took was being in bands and being actually out there on a stage. And I'll tell you, if you don't have the means to go to a school, get on a stage and be with a band, tour, do that kind of stuff, because you need to be immersed if you want to make it. Make it in the music industry or anything regarding music. You must be immersed. If you have a job that is not music related at all, hopefully it leaves you enough time and resources that you are able to write when you're not working. And don't give me the excuse that you don't have time. Don't ever give me that excuse, because you do have time. You're just not using it. Believe me, I know. For those of you who are in bands, what you need to do is you need to tour, and you need to be on stage. You need to get out of your garage, you need to get out of your basement, and you need to go tour. And when you decide to tour, you're going to buy this book. This book is the Bible of touring. This book is by Martin Atkins, and it's the best thing I've seen ever when it comes to touring. So if you're in a band, you must tour. If you must tour, you must buy this book. It's not an option. That being said, okay, so like I said, there's lots of details and everything about how I got to where I'm at, but it's really pretty basic. If you're older and you're just getting into this, it's a little more difficult. You have a lot more responsibility. You have things that you have bills to pay. You might have a mortgage or something like that. But that still doesn't give you the excuse of no time. You can always find time. And you can always surround yourself with people who are doing interesting things. You can always find a community of people who are doing something interesting. If you're in a small town, I live in San Francisco, so there are a lot of people doing creative stuff here. But if you live in Missouri, or if you live in Idaho or something like that, you're going to need to find out where music is happening, because music is happening everywhere, and there's somebody doing music around you, and you should be around that somehow. You should make just an hour, a half hour, any kind of time, just to go and see what's going on. Find out where people are performing, go hang out, make friends. So that's basically it in a nutshell. This is not scripted, it's nothing like that, but when Adam sent me that email, I just really wanted to make this video. And I hope you guys are all doing great, and I just wanted you to realize one of my favorite sayings is, there is no ordinary way to do extraordinary things. Use whatever resources you have and fight to make music.